when the Scrum Master is coming to this director, manager, or just a leader, and they asking for changing the process because they've noticed that something is wrong in the process, or there are some waste discovered there. Sometimes they have even exact numbers like calculation into money, etc., and they are just ignored. So how those Scrum Masters can help those organizations when they don't listen to them?
Today, my guest is Magdalena Firlit. Magdalena boasts over 24 years of professional experience since graduating from university. For the past 16 years, she has thrived in agile environments, holding roles such as Scrum Master, Product Owner, Agile Coach, and Agile Leader. Additionally, she has served as a trainer, consultant, mentor, speaker, and author at magdalenafirlit.com. She collaborates closely with companies, aiding their transition toward true agility and product development while promoting the evidence-based management framework. Magdalena is also a professional Scrum Trainer with Scrum.org. This videocast is an episode of a series named Your Story, hosted by PST Mehdi Hoseini, with the mission of sharing the professional life story of professional Scrum Trainers and other advancing people with serious achievements in the product development world. So, if you enjoy the videocast, don't forget to subscribe and share it with your friends and colleagues. Hello, Magda. Welcome to Your Story. And today we have this conversation to know about your background and your story. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. And hi, Mehdi.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. And I really appreciate that you accepted my invitation to be in this conversation. So we will try our best to have a nice conversation today. I'm sure we will have. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we will have.
My pleasure.
Absolutely.
So let's get started by your introduction. Would you please give a short introduction of yourself, where you started your journey and where you are now?
Mm-hmm. So I'm Magda, or Magdalena Firlit, like a longer version of the name, Firlit. And right now I'm a professional Scrum Trainer at Scrum.org, and I run my own company. Actually, two brands. So one is magdalenafirlit.com, and the second one is Agile in the Spotlight, which is mostly at this moment my YouTube channel and brand. I have over 25 years or so of professional experience, and I started as a project manager, like a very traditional one, and also had an experience being project portfolio manager, program manager, and so on. And then I moved in 2008 to agility because I discovered it during my postgraduate university course, something that was like a revelation to me. And it was very, very like a discovery. And so I started applying it in my environment. And this is how it started. And then I became a Scrum Master, also had product owner experience, also being an Agile Leader for Agile Coaches and Scrum Masters. So plenty of roles, but all of them related to a Scrum or in general Agile world. And also I started my own company. So also as an entrepreneur, I have some experience. So this is very in a nutshell. Also, maybe I can add something, but sometimes I'm a speaker. I'm also a mentor, a volunteer, also an author of my articles, my blog. Also, I created. So plenty of different hats and different roles and everything, not to get bored. Yeah, of course. Yeah, plenty of things going around.
And your main focus was IT industry, right?
Yes, I started in IT industry. Yes, exactly. However, at this moment, I cooperate with different, also different environments, like, for example, with marketing, or sometimes it's pharma, sometimes it's like IT for medical solutions, sometimes can be sales department, sometimes HR even department. So there are plenty of different things that are going on. And I'm really happy because it gives me like a broad and perspective and broaden experience.
And which year you became a PST?
It's in 2017, I believe. Yes,
17, 7 years
17.
ago.
So
7 years
years
ago.
ago.
And at the moment, you are authorized to teach all courses of Scrum.org, right? Or
Almost,
oh, yeah.
almost. Besides one for developers. So
Yeah,
applying
PSD.
professional school
It's come for,
PSD.
yeah, software
Yeah.
development. Got it, got it. Cool, wonderful, wonderful. And when did you start your own company?
It was also in 2017, because that was the year when once I became a professional Scrum trainer. So maybe a little bit story about how I became a trainer. So I had those years of experience, almost 9 years, and I still like didn't feel courage enough to apply for a license. And then once I was an Agile coach, I met my mentor, Ravi Verma, our colleague from Scrum.org.
Wow,
And
awesome.
he had some mentoring sessions with me, and he offered me so much encouragement and plenty of good positive words that could help me to make this decision. Actually, and I applied, and this is how the journey began. And then also I had the great opportunity to have my main trainer for Train the Trainer. That was Hinter Varian.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so Hinter like
He's a great
taught me.
man. Yeah.
Yeah,
He was my
taught
first
me
guest.
your first too.
Yeah. 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 Okay. Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
having those two mentors,
Yeah, I
it
can
was
imagine. I
yeah,
can
yeah.
imagine. And for our audience, I think they are interested in knowing where you are living. If you could, yeah, elaborate on that one as well, that would be great.
So
Yeah.
yeah, of course, I can share. So basically, I'm Polish, and I come from Poland and the beautiful city of Krakow. But recently, I've been living in Spain, in also beautiful Andalusia region. And unfortunately, I'm leaving after a few months. I'm leaving for a few months. Hopefully, I can come back here this year. This year for
Again in winter.
again in
Yeah.
winter. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Awesome. 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 Okay, cool. So let's start some questions. Technical questions is better. It's better. I have seen that you have a good focus on EBM. Is there any specific reason about that one? Would you please elaborate on that?
And again, I need to mention Ravi Verma, also Mark Nodman, because together, when we met for the first time, it was 2015, and we met in one organization, and we were just accountable and responsible at the same time for applying the EBM framework in the organization. And that was my first time I met and heard about the EBM. And of course, I fell in love because I've seen it working, and of course, not working too. But it is a different story. And of course, everything depends on people and organizations, and the framework itself is really, really working and really good. So that's my focus on the EBM. And also, maybe we can share what is the EBM. Maybe our audience
Yeah, why not?
heard it for
Please.
the first time, and maybe also they will fall in love as I did. So it's a framework, and in general, from a definition perspective, helps people, teams, organizations make better informed decisions, and to help them achieve their goals by using intentional experimentation and feedback. And this is like a official definition, but the framework itself is helpful when you would like to discover your goals. So not only measure progress toward your goals, but also discover goals from unrealized value, from potential. The second thing is that the framework consists of kind of structure, hierarchy of goals, we can say. And having this hierarchy is easier to achieve those smaller goals, smaller steps, and then towards to the strategic main goal, like a long-term goal. And also we have four key value areas, but we can measure value there, and what is currently in our organization, what's going on, what is our current value, how is our time to market, is it good or bad? From the perspective when you compare to current value, because they have some connections, of course, how you are able or unable actually to innovate. So about your ability or disability to innovate. And also this potential I mentioned before, unrealized value. This is a great thing and great area because we can discover how many things we need to cover and close satisfaction gaps. Also, there are experimentation loops and key value metrics. So maybe when I discuss it right now, maybe it looks like quite complex, but it's like a straightforward and very easy, empirical, and really great for complex environments to discover value, measure value, discover goals, and measure progress toward goals, and of course everything to encourage us to experiment and get feedback. So that's really great, and it's working.
Yeah.
Only when people are open to it.
Awesome. Just for our audience, EBM stands for Evidence-Based Management. Yeah. And as far as I know, its main intention is to measure agility level of organizations, as you explained the way you do that. And I have heard recently that its new release 2024, has been published. What is the difference between this version and the previous version? And the previous version, I guess it was 2020, right?
2020, exactly.
Yes,
exactly.
Okay. So what is the differences between these two versions?
No revolution when we expected any kind of revolution, so there is not. There are two added categories to make things clear. For example, we've been teaching in the past and before we taught it about inputs and company impact. So right now we added it like officially, and because there are inputs, there are activities, there are outputs, outcomes, and company impact. So inputs were added, something what you have from the start, and then you have some activity, what you are doing. For example, you are coding, right? So input, you have your knowledge, skills, maybe. Activity, it is what you are doing. So for example, coding, designing, marketing, and so on. And the output is the result of your activities. So for example, a feature is an output, but does it make a product or this feature valuable? Actually, we don't know, because measuring only delivery, it's not enough. So we need to measure outputs and company outcomes, and outcomes and company impact. So outcomes, there are like measurable changes in customer behavior. There are desired experience by our customers, by our users. And this is what we should measure it. So if someone has some benefits, if they have some benefits from using this feature, this is the value. And also company impact, so how much value we can add as an organization, like for example, revenue or return on investment, or maybe cost saving, or maybe market share, or maybe brand recognition. Depends, of course, on the context. So this is like what's done in the newest version was right now added inputs and company impact means that everything right now is clear and there is entire flow. So that's one of the changes. And the strategic goals may appear in plural because there is an assumption that there is one strategic goal. But let's imagine we have like a 20,000 organization, very large organization. Probably this organization has its mission, vision, etc., but it is not strategic goal, but should be like a outcome. So remember outcome, customer oriented or user oriented, and should be measurable. And sometimes it's really difficult for some organization to have this clear strategic goal. Sometimes it is, but often we have those strategic goals on the department level, or maybe product portfolio, product line level. So that's why it may appear somewhere in the guide right now in plural, so don't be surprised. Some grammar changes and changing like sentences for clarity rather, and also 2 changes in examples of key value metrics that was added: employee engagement in ability to innovate area, and market share was rephrased into potential market share, because it is a potential in unrealized value. So I guess small changes, some were small, but some were not, and emphasizing experimentation and hypothesis. So first of all, we have our assumption, and how do we know that we are right? So there is an encouragement right now to write an hypothesis, run an experiment, and have data. And then after having data, because in general, evidence-based management, right? So we are making decisions based on facts. So that's also when we would like, sounds like data. Having data, it's really, really important to make decisions. So goals, of course, but also experimentation can provide us data, and also data that we can just gather day by day for products.
And Magda, I know that there are various metrics at the end of this framework document, but there are some examples, right?
Examples,
so people can select from them. And even I have seen that there is a relationship between these metrics and DORA metrics as well. I see that there are some reference blue text there. So how do you describe this one?
So because this is something that we provide as example, so you can use it when you don't have so many metrics in your organization. We can provide you something for start, right? So, and not only DORA metrics, but also we can provide some metrics that, for example, don't forget about measuring your revenue. Don't forget measure your customer satisfaction. Don't forget about measuring product cost, because sometimes it's omitted in organizations, and especially when teams are in IT and there are business teams and they are in separate departments, sometimes they don't connect their metrics together, they don't visualize them together. So this is some kind of guidance what you can use. You can use also your own metrics. So we are not forcing people with the EBM to, yes, you can only use our metric. No, this is just an indicator, just examples. I know some organizations, when they measure only or time or velocity, and that's it. So they don't know how to start. So I encourage them, okay, so let's take those metrics we provided as examples, and then we can build on it or something like that. And also, very important thing here is that we don't want to be metric driven so much. It's not about having 50 metrics in our product. Have a few of them, but really meaningful, saying something about your value, about your customers, about everything. And we use not only DORA metrics, and DORA metrics are mostly in time to market used. Some of them, change, failure rate, they are used in ability to innovate, but also we use like a very handy thing, metrics from Kanban, like flow metrics, like cycle time here, for example. So absolutely feel free to add your metrics, your own metrics. If you don't have them, here is a guidance. You can take them and have something ready, because they are really like very generic, those metrics we provided, and ready to use for actually many types of organizations. And I found them useful. Actually, I use them till that day, especially, and I mentioned before, in organizations that they don't have so many metrics, but they are saying them something about value delivery, about their customers, about discovering this potential, like measuring customer and user satisfaction gaps. So that's why it's really helpful. Mehdi, does it answer your question?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, thank you. Loved it. Okay, so let's move forward by asking a new question out of EBM. We know that there is a new course with the Scrum.org, Professional Scrum Product Backlog Management Skill. Okay, so I'm wondering, what is the difference between this course and PSPO course?
Mm-hmm.
And why did we need a new course for that one?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So in the Professional Scrum Product Owner course, PSPO course, there's a very little space for exploring techniques for product backlog management. And people are asking about it during the course. And of course, I teach a few of them there in this course for product owners, this level 1. Sometimes level 2, people are asking the same question. So I'm trying to, having like this broad and extensive agenda. You cannot do everything. You cannot share like a few techniques. You can sometimes share only one, but it's the best working for you or your students at this moment they are asking. But it's like going deeper into product backlog management is like completely impossible. And the first day of the PSPO course is focused rather on product management, products. Also at EBM, also we teach EBM there, like an introduction to the EBM. And the second day is rather focused on Scrum framework and to some extent product backlog management too, and some case studies, and plenty of exercises, but they are around Scrum, about product owner accountability, because it's for product owners and not necessarily product backlog management, like deeper. So the Professional Scrum Product Backlog Management Skills course, this new course, is directly focused on product backlog item creation, but from knowing your customer and knowing your vision, of course, into details. So starting from why we are delivering this product, why we are doing, and for whom we are doing this product, that's so important. And this is like for example, it is like a user role modeling used there, and plenty of other techniques that can help Scrum teams, especially product owners and supporting roles, to practice those techniques there during the course. So plenty of them, actually. There are, I don't know how many, maybe 9, 10, 11, I don't know. I need to calculate it, but there are many. It's a one-day course, or of course can be divided into half day, 2 day, but each day. Yeah, but a half day, in fact, yeah. So this is like a shorter course, but rather focused on techniques. So we assume during this course that we know who is a product owner. We know about some product management aspects. We know about Scrum framework, because there is no chance during this product backlog management skills course to come back to like definitions or practicing some basics. So this is like this course is for me like a bridge between PSPO1 and PSPO advanced kind of, but also can be, it is for me, this is just my impression. It's never stated officially, but my impression, and also my impression is that can be at some point useful to advanced product owners. But mostly I would recommend it between PSPO1 and PSPO advanced. That would be my recommendation. But of course, it's like depends on the individual, and depends on the person and how they feel, what they need actually to cooperate better with products. So, but that was my impression. Yeah.
Oh, thanks a lot for clarification, and to inform our audience where this specific course resides. As you mentioned, I loved it, between PSPO and PSPO-A.
Yeah, and this is like the missing puzzle, something like this. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you cannot fit everything into a 2-day course or 1-day course.
I agree.
So we can mention it, of course, but it's not done. We need to practice it. And sometimes people, they want to give me more examples or more ideas, more things. Without practicing it, probably it will be forgotten. So
yeah, okay.
We need to practice.
So let me ask you a challenging question.
Sure.
When we are running and facilitating a class, specifically PSM class, many students ask about estimation, and they are really interested in knowing a lot about estimation, while we know that we are working in an complex environment, where we don't know everything upfront. So how do you see the estimation concept, Magda?
Mhm. Those questions are often asked during almost all courses. All courses, maybe besides the product owner advance, but
Mm.
sometimes also people still, they can ask. So not only PSM course, actually
Yeah.
PSP, of course, many courses. Yes, during many courses, even advanced ones. And I understand those questions they are asking us, Mehdi, because what I can see, people are expected to provide accurate
Mm.
estimations upfront. And so what I'm doing, I even recorded a video
Uh-huh.
for it, and it's publicly available. Sometimes I just send people there, because sometimes when we don't have time for like a deeper conversation, so sometimes I send people there. But of course we can have right now a deeper conversation, because in complex, as you mentioned, in complex environments where there are many variables, changes, we have changes in technology. Sometimes people are unpredictable. We have changes in requirements. So there is in those environments, there is no single estimation technique that can predict a future. We can forecast based on our historical data, but we are not able to provide a reliable prediction that is 100% accurate. And that's a clue. And people don't like this answer, actually,
Yeah,
to be honest.
you're right,
They don't like
definitely.
them. Yeah. So we need to come back to the complexity and teaching people what does it mean, a complex environment, and how stable it is. And I always compare when we have like a really factory, for example, a factory and a production, like an assembly line, when we deliver something really repeatable, like those pens. Yeah, let's imagine. And we can calculate how many pens will be delivered within an hour, for example. So this is like how machine can produce it. It's really easy, and we can be kind of accurate, of course, providing the fact that assembly line is working and everything is working. And we have basic materials for creating and delivering this product. But let's compare it to or software or design or medicine or science or engineering or even education or HR or dealing with people like marketing as well and sales. So how we can be 100% accurate, but this is what we will do for sure. We cannot say it because it's a lie in fact.
Yeah.
Of course our intention is completely different, but if we want to be transparent and we want to people just to understand the difference between really simple assembly and simple, because I'm not saying about like electronic devices production, absolutely it's completely different, but something that is really repeatable and simple and something that is known to something that is really unrepeatable, unknown. And in addition, when we are giving estimates, there are some biases, like for example, planning fallacy, it's called, and can be optimistic bias, can be confirmation bias, can be cognitive bias. And there are plenty of biases that we as human beings and our brains, we are just falling into it. So what we can do, because our listeners and viewers probably they want to provide us some guidance.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe probabilistic forecasting, and this is like really recently is really popular and popularized by our Kanban people, might give us some notion of probability. It's not the prediction; it is a probability. And also we need to have information if our system is stable or unstable. And then we can create like a Monte Carlo simulation, for example, and have
It has
some,
a range, yeah, a range
it
of.
has a range of
Mm.
probability, and it's still never 100%. It is like at most 95%, I've seen.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's 85%. But can you see the difference, right? It's not 100%, and gives like a transparency and teaching actually mostly stakeholders, because this is mostly for stakeholders and for us ourselves as well, in teaching us about probability and the range is like from, for example, 95% to 50% or something, sometimes less of delivery, providing the fact that the history will repeat again because we are based on historical data. We don't know the future. And this is like embracing uncertainty, actually. And sometimes people, they want estimates in hours. And I mentioned before those planning fallacy and those biases. So I would really recommend the book of Daniel Kahneman, especially Thinking Fast and Slow. So there are plenty of information and actually research, like scientific research about our brains and about our biases, and many experimentation they did to prove that we are biased. Just simply like that. Yeah, so this is very interesting, and I would really recommend to take a moment and to reflect on how we expect people to, in complexity, to estimate with 100% of accuracy.
Yeah.
No, this is not an assembly line. Remember, pens. Pens.
You're right. You're right. And maybe one more question here. Would you agree if we use a probability approach, it would be costly, it will bring a new overhead for the team because they need to put a lot of, effort to make that, estimation?
Not necessarily, because there are tools that they are doing it for us. It's automated. So when they track their historical data, when they provide day by day accuracy in their day by day tasks, so it can be calculated later on after some period of time and regularly. For example, when they work with Scrum, so they can do it like seeing data once per sprint, but updating it day by day is really helpful and it's needed. Of course, I'm not saying that just once per 2 weeks you need to update it. No, this is not what I'm saying. After 2 weeks, you can see the trend and everything, but of course, updating it regularly and day by day, their own task. That's like a very easy job to move from one column to another, for example. That's a 2-second job. And when they have it, and then can feed the system and actually have data and those charts and forecasting done, but not manually, but automatically. So not a big effort. Like normal, like managing your sprints or Kanban board depends on in which process you are working. So normally it should be done. It should be done automatically.
I just wanted to check it with you. But how I usually answer this question is this one. Usually the quality conversation is, missed because the main intention behind estimation is having quality conversation, not the final number that we find, about the estimation. And we say, for example, it is 5 story points or 8 story points or something like this. The better conversation we have, the better understanding developers will have to implement that expectation. Yeah.
Exactly.
So I really, recommend people to move their center of attention from the accurate numbers to having quality conversation.
Of course, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Because this is like this is not like a black and white, but we are talking only about estimations. Yeah, we mentioned those things, of course, here during our conversation, Mehdi. But of course, there are much more things that are going around, and estimations and exact numbers are not the point. And this is what we also should teach. And this is a good point you mentioned. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So let's continue. Another challenging question. Magda. Yeah.
Ready.
Ready. Okay. What are the attributes of a high-performing Scrum team?
That's a really challenging question because probably the answer also is not black and white. There are shades of gray. But if I can mention some key points here, of course, not everything probably, but just to inspire our people, I would say trust is one of the first things. Think about teams when you can trust each other. Think about teams when you couldn't trust each other. So what is the difference, and how is like a high performing? What does it mean high performing? It means that they are delivering what? Plenty of feature and delivery mindset, or plenty of value. So this is what we would strive for, is the second thing. after trust is value and being customer oriented. What I've noticed when we value, like a future value, those potential is understood by Scrum team members, what they say, it's always thinking about value and thinking about customers oriented and what benefits they will have from our features, from our activities, from our all work. And when they are customer oriented, and they truly are, and they understand it, and sometimes they can meet a customer in person or of course virtually. This is what I mean, like in person, seeing them at least. In some organization, it is possible. So they are completely differently focused. And the high performance in that way means that they are really striving for value. They are focused and they have goals that they can integrate them and they can self-manage around those goals. And that's what is the beauty of Scrum teams. And this is something like team spirit also, I can say, and great communication and conversation. And this is normal, like natural between them. There is nothing that, oh gosh, I need to talk to them again. No, there is like completely different attitude. And those goals I mentioned, maybe I wasn't clear enough. And when you have a product goal, but it's really customer value oriented and, it's measurable and it's really clear to us and valuable. And we understand what it's really needed for our customers. And also we may have sprint goals for one sprint goal per sprint, of course, but like a sprint goals, I mean, for next sprints. And they are really focused on that because those small sprint goals can help to achieve this product goal. And that's also what is really helpful. But the word high performing Scrum teams, sometimes I need to rethink this word performing because we need to ask ourselves what performance means in that way. Yeah.
It can be context-based. Yeah.
Context-based, of course. We mean value here. So just to emphasize it, we mean value and customer orientation here and delivering value. So their effectiveness towards value. That's what I would say. But of course, people can define it in a different way. For instance, can define it like give me the number of features that it's 50 per sprint. But do they deliver value? Actually, we don't know. But the number of delivered features, it is for them, but for me not. So that's the definition.
I can imagine. Yeah, cool. Thank you very much. Maybe to continue this question, we know that many teams and organizations all around the world are using Scrum, but usually we hear that they cannot or they don't use the professional Scrum as it is supposed to be. What is difficult about the Scrum that teams or organizations cannot benefit completely from a Scrum? How do you think about this one?
Mehdi, how many hours do we have? Or how many days?
Go ahead.
Where to start, Mehdi? Where to start? I don't know where to start. So
because let's be honest, Magda, the Scrum guide is just 13 pages, but it needs a lot of time to master it.
Exactly.
And we know that organizations' intention is to benefit from it, but in reality, when you see them, it seems it's difficult for them. And sometimes even they customize it based on their context, while we have in a Scrum guide that Scrum is immutable. It is, minimal. So just use it as it is. So what is the trick here?
Many tricks. First of all, maybe I will start from something that it's not very often met, but it is. So maybe from the easier part. Sometimes Scrum is applied in environments that they don't need Scrum. I met many Agile coaches that they are saying, Scrum everywhere. And they are like sometimes newbies or sometimes they are like preachers. And no, Scrum actually is for complex environments. And even there, we need to see if it's working for your context or not. So this is the first thing. Sometimes they apply Scrum in other environments that are not suitable for Scrum. So Scrum doesn't resolve all your problems. This is the second thing. Scrum can reveal, because of transparency, for example, because of Scrum values, Scrum can reveal your problems, but very often cannot solve them. And people are frustrated. They are thinking, oh, Scrum should solve me this problem. But it reveals the problem, but what was hidden before. Oh, this is another thing, like misunderstandings and like false expectations from Scrum. The third thing is accountabilities in Scrum are misunderstood.
Oh, fully agree.
Fully, right? Like product owners are scribes, and Scrum Masters are scribes and secretaries. And developers, they are focusing on individual tasks. There is no teamwork, nothing like I mentioned before in the previous question you asked about high-performing Scrum team. So no goals, no team spirit, no communication. Just give me a task and that's it. And bye-bye till the next day. So that's one story. Another story, those people in product owner and Scrum Master roles that are completely not empowered to make decisions, to help organizations. And then Scrum is not working, they are saying. But fortunately, I could experience really working Scrum because otherwise I would be completely frustrated and couldn't do it and burned out and couldn't do the more work in that way. So fortunately, there is not bad as it is always. And the second thing, people are expecting some tools, techniques, and this is a framework. That's another understanding. Yeah, a framework give us only like a frames, but inside you can use
Whatever you want.
whatever you want. And it's not working for people apparently. People want to have like
prescription. They want prescription.
And the recipe, like for cooking, some recipes, like give me like kilograms of this and liters of this water, etc., etc. And it's not working like that. It can work, but in other environments, like maybe simple environments, but not in complex environments when we need to innovate very often, when we need to be creative. And sometimes this creativity might be just killed. And this is in a nutshell, because as I mentioned, Mehdi, there are plenty of things. And of course, also misunderstanding on the leaders, management level, and their expectations from Scrum, but is different than Scrum can actually provide you.
Yeah. And even I have seen that there are many, wrong expectations from a Scrum in the management mind, So, and we know that they are responsible for hiring people for Scrum, They hire Scrum Masters, product owners, and these things. But if they don't know exactly what a Scrum is, how we can expect them to hire the right person.
Exactly. This is also what I'm always saying, at how it's possible to hire and expect, like having a job description and expectation from this person when ourselves, we don't understand what we should expect from this person. So like what I mentioned before, unempowered product owners or Scrum Masters expecting from Scrum Master to set up the meetings and facilitate those meetings. And that's it. And then they are saying, but Scrum Masters are not valuable to our organization because they don't do nothing. And how? And when the Scrum Master is coming to this director, manager, or just a leader, and they asking for changing a process because they've noticed that something is wrong in the process, or there are some waste discovered there. Sometimes they have even exact numbers like calculation into money, etc., and they are just ignored. So how those Scrum Masters can help those organizations when they don't listen to them, at least don't listen to them at some point to start a discussion and maybe some changes together, to be involved. So I always ask managers and leaders, be involved as much as you can, understand it, take part in changes, for your organization, and how those people deliver products and deliver value and change processes if needed.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, like
No,
at
that's
least
okay.
today,
Our
at least
time
today.
is short, but I love,
Yes. Yeah,
your
I love this
clarification.
topic. Actually, that's why I'm saying that
Okay.
today is not enough.
Cool. So, how do you serve the market, Magda? I mean, your courses that you offer to the market, or maybe consultancy or other offering that you have. Would you please explain and inform our audience?
So I'm focused on product management, delivery, helping product owners, also Scrum Masters, of course, yes. Evidence-based management and value. Those are my key points. I teach and consult organizations, sometimes departments, sometimes individuals. So depends on the need of the organizational need. Besides teaching and consulting, also I share knowledge at conferences, meetups, webinars, and also I'm recording my videos for my YouTube channel where I share knowledge. Some of them are in English, some of them are in Polish, so depends. Yeah. You can check them out, but especially about estimation, they were recorded in English. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Because that was
awesome.
for broader audience.
So they
So
can find it on your YouTube channel.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
okay. I will share
YouTube
your
channel.
YouTube channel and the caption
Thank
of
you.
this. Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
And your website, you mentioned magdalenafirlit.com.
Magdalenafirlit.com. Exactly.
So you announce your courses there if audience
Yeah,
want to find to
absolutely. Yeah. You can check them out. Some of them are in English, some of them are in Polish, of course, depends on the audience, but you can check it out. And also my articles, actually, I can recommend some of my articles.
Okay.
They are
Go ahead.
also published both on my website and scrum.org website. And I believe they are like quite kind of advanced. Recently, I wrote about key value metrics or, for example, product roadmap on the product portfolio level. So plenty of some a little bit advanced content for people. And also, I'm a volunteer at Women in Technology in Chapter Poland. So
awesome.
sometimes I'm mentor for mentors. Sometimes I teach ladies as well, helping them to boost their career.
Awesome. You're truly active with that regard. Yeah.
Yeah, a little things that are going on. That's why at the very beginning of our conversation, I said about changing sometimes hats.
Yeah.
Yes, I need to change sometimes a hat, but everything is to just popularize something that I believe, really, I truly believe in, because I've seen it working in organization. If I wouldn't, I would do something completely different, because I cannot have this inconsistency, like seeing something different and believing in something different and teaching something different. Of course, there are organizations, like we mentioned before, that they completely misunderstood and they have wrong expectations from or Scrum or accountabilities from Scrum. But at the same time, there are quite opposite. Some organizations, they do it perfectly, and they at this moment they don't need my help. I just give them some inspirations, and that's it sometimes. And sometimes I gave them just in the past, and now it's okay. So it depends on the situation, and I'm always that's why I'm saying that it depends on the people's openness, actually, and how they are able to listen to some tips, or sometimes answering difficult questions. Like today, you ask me some questions. Sometimes also I'm asking questions, just questions to customers, not only providing them tips. I can provide them tips, and then this is what I do. But sometimes I'm just asking them, for example, what to refrain them from doing something or seeing something, etc. Right? Questions. Sometimes they are helpful because they can realize answering those questions. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And you mentioned you are authorized to teach almost all courses of scrum.org. But can we say your main focus is on PSPO, PSPOA, and PAL EBM? PAL EBM.
Yeah. PAL EBM and PALI as well. Oh,
PALI
I
as well.
forgot. Yeah, I used to be a steward with Ryan Ripley for this course. Yeah, a few years
You are
ago.
now? You are now?
No, I used to be.
Oh, you
I
used to be.
Yeah.
For
Like
PALI,
2 years
yes?
ago. PALI, yes. So of course I've heard about one of my favorite courses for leaders, of course, yes. And probably also I teach PSU, user experience. Also, I had some examples and the experience collaborating closely in Scrum teams with user experience. When delivering products. Also, Professional Scrum Master Advanced as well, because that was my first Scrum accountability many years ago, like I don't know, 16 years ago, I believe, or 15. I don't know. I don't remember the exact number. Yeah, how many years ago? Yeah, it was. But this is how I started. So absolutely, yes. And actually all of them, but mainly focus on product value, EBM, and PALI, as I mentioned before. Yeah.
For our audience, PALI, Professional Agile Leadership Essentials. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Magda, we are used to ask our guests to introduce at least 2 valuable books to our audience. So it is your turn now. Would you please help our audience?
Sure. So one book I mentioned today, and this is, I will repeat it, Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. Plenty of our biases. I really recommend it. And the second book is Unlocking Agility with Evidence-Based Management, the recent book by Patricia Kong, Todd Miller, Ryan Ripley, and Kurt.
Oh, from Scrum.org. These are PSTs, all of them. Yeah, PSTs.
Ryan Ripley, Ryan Ripley and Todd Miller. But Patricia and Kurt, they are not PSTs, but they are forever in Scrum.org, and they had great experience with applying the EBM in organizations. So that's the most recent book, and of course there are plenty of them. But those are what I'm really under such an influence.
And do you have any plan for yourself to write a book, or any idea about that one?
I had, but I procrastinated. I had a plan, even I had an outline like 2-3 years ago, but actually this is a great example of maybe missing an opportunity to the market. I was too slow. Actually, I was overloaded, Mehdi. I was overloaded with work, with consulting, and I really couldn't focus on it. I couldn't stop because I had some contracts, etc. So I couldn't stop working. So I thought it won't be kind of fair to my readers and to my audience to write something just without quality and without focus. So for now I stopped, but still there is an outline.
Yeah, but you know, Magda, you have this long, time of experience, so that would be great if you put them in a book. Why not? Then other people can benefit from. Why not?
Yeah, exactly. Maybe this summer will be some time. The summer looks
I triggered
quiet. Yeah. In general, summertime looks really quiet. So just strong will and have some initial plan, because remember, planning is everything. Plans may fail. As planning is everything. So some strategic goal, yes, using the EBM, some strategic goal, and I hope maybe something will come up. So keep your fingers crossed, Mehdi.
Yeah, cool. So as the last question, if you wanted to squeeze your professional life into just one sentence, what would that be, Magda?
That's the Killer question.
Clear question. The last one.
The
Yeah.
last one. Oh, gosh. Help me.
Go ahead.
Kidding, just kidding, just kidding. So I think that maybe not one sentence, maybe one. Embrace, thinking about embracing your possibilities and future. And I think that being not afraid of being kicked out of your comfort zone. So I think I always was kicked out of my comfort zone, like kicked out totally. And each day, each month, and still I'm having it. So not staying there and embracing those possibilities actually, and treat it not like as kicking out from my comfort zone, but as a possibility and the future and something new is really helpful, and it helped me. So maybe someone will be inspired too.
Cool. Cool. Loved it. Okay. Thank Magda.
That's me.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And our time is up. Is there anything specific you want to share with our audience as the last sentences or anything you want? Feel free.
Yeah, sure. So I think that really thinking in terms of your customers and thinking in terms of value, people can really deliver great products and having like a performing team. So I would love our audience not to forget about it. And I really would love to think about in terms of value, not necessarily delivery thing, that value oriented. So this is like my message I wanted to just emphasize. We mentioned it, Mehdi, all the time and everything, but this is what I would like to emphasize for the end of our conversation.
Yeah. Great. Thank you very much, Magda, for being here. And I think we can close our conversation. It was really, really nice conversation. I appreciate it.
I really appreciate it too. Thank you so much. And thank you for having me. And I hope that will be inspirational for our listeners and viewers.
It's a pleasure. Okay. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you.